Hi guys, it's Della, and today I'm going to do the Draw My Life tag, which has been requested for a while. I'm sorry I've only got to do it now. And for warning, my story has no divorces, orphanage, violence, and all that. It's just much fun, and if you guys want a tearing story, then maybe you should be watching this. Starting off, we're gonna go back to 1979 in a country in Southeast Asia called Indonesia, and the capital city, Jakarta. It was July, the beginning of the new school year, and as freshmen in junior high, there was of course orientation. One in the crowd was a boy who was hella naughty, but at least had the brains to pay it off. And he was accompanied by his loving mother, who was so excited for his firstborn to go to school. Anyways, out of nowhere, they saw a girl, a beautiful girl with thick, black, curly hair and a really pointy nose. And, well, let's just say Cupid hit that boy real good. It was love at first sight. And the boy immediately asked the mother, "Can I date her?" And the mother said, "No, not yet. Slow down, lover boy." And ever since then, every time there's a school function where the parents come, the boy would always ask the mother, until finally 1.5 years later, the mother says, "Haha, okay, you can go date her." And so when they finally dated, and I'm pleased to say that they were the first partner each other ever had, and the only one. They've never been with anyone else afterwards, and they actually didn't come from money. I mean, the boy, who's actually very smart, didn't want to waste his IQ just because of the lack of resources. So when he studies, he would study by the side of the road at night, where there's only one lamppost near that road, and that was his light source to study because he didn't have that much electricity at home. But I am proud to call them Mom and Dad. I actually call my parents Papa, Mama, but anyways, they are my role models, especially in love life, being they were still in love at an early age and still in love until now. And on July 30th, 1994, they were blessed with me. I was the firstborn in my family, and everyone loved me so much because I had a really curly hair and it looked like Indomie, and I guess that's why I love Indomie so much nowadays. It's because my hair looks like Indomie. And 4 years later, I was blessed with a beautiful baby brother, and at first I was so pissed because he was born with straight hair and I had curly hair, and I was like, what the hell? But we ended up growing close, and he's my best friend, and he had this Jet Li ponytail thing going on until he was 6, so that was a really cool thing. I love you, bro. My family, I came from a really family-oriented background. My mother is the eldest on 4 kids, and my dad is the eldest in 7 kids. And all my aunts and uncles, of course, they went forth and reproduced, and I have a lot of little cousins, and they're still coming. So at one point, we all lived in one house. So you can say I lived with 7 uncles, 9 aunts, and 15 little cousins, and I'm the eldest in 16. As a little girl, I was really ambitious, and I was really interested in a lot of different things. I started learning piano since I was 2, and singing afterwards. I danced traditional and also ballet. I was into math. At age 9, I was doing high school stuff. I took painting lessons, drawing lessons, English lessons, and also Mandarin lessons, Japanese, and I was also really interested in culture. I took cooking lessons, I traveled a lot, I was a swimmer, and I studied knitting religiously. My grandmother taught me how to knit, and thank you, Grandma. Kindergarten or primary, I was a real loner. I didn't have that much friends at school because I was really shy and all I did was sing alone. And so whenever I go home, I go to the house across the street and play with my first ever friend and my best friend, Gandis, who you might notice from my prom princess tutorial, and we're still close until now. Elementary school, at first it was real hard because, again, I didn't have that many friends. A lot of people actually didn't like me because I spoke English fluently and with an accent. What happens when you grow up watching Disney Channel, and people think that was cocky of me when I was just being myself. and I would just go in the back of the class and write. And most of the time, I was writing my schedule down. And I had a really ambitious schedule. I mean, I was planning to be president or something. My parents didn't push me to be this. I mean, this schedule I made for myself, and I was inspired by my dad's very motivational story. And ever since I was little, I was like, I'm gonna beat his success. I'm gonna make my family happier. And one time in second grade, I was skipping class with two of my cousins. We rented a beca, which is this three-wheeled vehicle, and having an accident, I scraped half of my face on the road, and for 1 year, I was two-faced because literally half of my face was meat. On 5th grade, I met my best friends. This is me. They called me the lion because my hair looked like a lion's mane. And then there was Christy, the ball of laughter. And then there was Margaret, the model. You might notice her from my Valentine's Day tutorial and my Flirty Eyes tutorial. And then there was Karina, the clueless. And Karina actually has a twin, and we're all best friends until now. We're still very close. And even though I might seem like I'm a star student, I was actually very naughty. I skipped classes a lot, I fought a lot, and I really rebelled against the teacher a lot. At one point, I was really into meatballs, and I would jump off my school fence just to get my meatballs, even though it was class time. And, well, yeah, well, they were really good meatballs, okay? And this is not the worst scenario where I've been in. One time, the principal, and by the way, my elementary school was a Catholic school, so the principal were nuns. I was called by the principal because I was accused of stealing money, and me and one of my friends, who was a guy, we were accused because we were the last people to be seen on the crime scene, which is like crazy because I've never stolen a thing in my life. But that guy actually is my first love. He's my first boyfriend ever, and we dated for you can say years, but we went back and forth, but now we're just good friends. In junior high, I was separated with my best friends, but we still remain close contact. But I was at a really weird stage where hormones started kicking in and boobies started popping out. And I was actually a real tomboy. I didn't pay attention to my looks at all. I was into wrestling. And I was that kind of girl that you would see everywhere. I tried to get my hands on any school activities that I can because I just want to make the most out of my time. From clubs to student council and robotics. I mean, I don't even remember learning anything in robotics. I was just active. And my grades, well, they were pretty good in junior high, except for PE. I suck at PE. And biology. I couldn't disinfect a frog, whatever you do with it. I skipped biology for that. But my principal said I have a chance to try out for a scholarship to Singapore. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna give it a try, and if it doesn't work, it's okay. I'll just go to a normal high school. So first test was IQ test, passed that. Math and English test, passed that. And the last one was an interview. I remember being in that interview in my ghetto-ass getup, and there was this tidy, neat-up girl holding a bunch of folders in her arm, and I said, what was that? And she arrogantly said, it's my awards and achievements and blah blah blah, where's yours? But I ended up passing the interview and she didn't, so just remember to not be cocky, guys, because you might never know when such occasion like that would happen to you. But that was open to Indonesia-wide, so there were over 2,000 contenders, I believe, and around 42 of us, or 46, got the scholarship, and we all flew to Singapore, the land of Merlion. And this is my dorm room. I was placed in the most strictest hostel in Singapore, and I actually enjoyed it, even though it's not technically the Ritz. It's not a 5-star accommodation, but we had each other, and I ended up developing close bonds with a lot of them. And my roommate Cloudy is the best roommate anyone could ever ask for. I mean, our room was like the most coolest room in the whole hostel because we would dress it up. There were 16 or 19 girls and the rest were guys, and we all were really close to each other because we were far away from home and our family, and we call ourselves the second family. Singapore was also the first time I got up and close personal with my true love, Sephora. And while I was enjoying my time in Singapore, well, not really enjoying it that much, but my dad was home and he was really sad and missing me a lot. He kind of regretted the decision of letting me go at such an early age. And so I made the hardest decision that I ever had to make in my life, which was to leave the scholarship. And I can't really discuss the reasons why I left the scholarship in video, but anyways, it was really hard. But I didn't go home empty-handed. I met a guy, and back then I used to have this checklist of guys, and I thought that he scored ace on that checklist, and now I just think it's false advertisement. But anyways, because he was scholar, he couldn't go home to Indonesia all the time. I saved that money so I can visit him. But only after a couple of months of being in love, on a horrible phone call, he broke up with me. And I was really sad and heartbroken. And I mean, that was kind of like my first love, I guess. And it was really hard. And I kind of stopped living. I was sleeping in my parents' bedroom for like a week and didn't go to school for 2 weeks. But my family and friends, they were always there to support me. My parents were like, it's just part of life and we love you. Whereas my little brother, all grown up and big now, he's like, Dad, Richard is dead. I love my little brother. He's such a protective little brother. And back in high school, in my new school, I wasn't really comfortable as well because I was at the awkward hair phase where my hair looked like an octopus, and the boys in my school called me octopus, and guys, you know who you are. And the girls, to me, at the first sight, they seemed too superficial for me, so I was really left out. But I ended up falling in love with my school because, you know, you never know something until you really get to know them. My school was 44 kilometers away from my home one way, and I had to drive all the way there alone every morning. So heartbroken me and rebellious me realized that there's a lot of things on the way to school, like museums and coffee shops and amusement parks. So one day during skipping, I went to the mall. Heartbroken me went to the makeup department, where, of course, being makeup department, there was a lot of makeup. And I remember suddenly a little bell rang in my head. I remember watching this girl on YouTube showing girls how to apply makeup. It was Michelle Phan. And I said to myself, you know what, I can do that too. So all the money I saved up to visit Richard, I used it to buy makeup, and it was kind of stupid. But I don't regret it at all, because after I got that, I finally start trying to look better. And actually, I learned makeup during dancing, because as a dancer you have to know how to apply makeup. But anyways, I started little mascara and then move on to contouring and all. My friends were like, how did you do that? And finally one of them, Stania, told me to just put it on YouTube so all of us can see it easily. So I did, and that's why I posted videos on YouTube, because my friends asked for it. And I don't regret my decision of posting it on YouTube. But afterwards, anyway, I graduated high school. I was prom queen because everyone didn't know who to vote for. And I got a nice grade, distinction in my art. My dad actually cried tears of joy during my graduation because he was afraid that I won't pass because I was awarded Best Class Skipper. Seriously, I have a trophy in my room that can prove to you guys that I was Best Class Skipper. But the tradition in my school is that the graduating year would go to Bali for like a week of getting cake-faced and, you know, just having fun. And I met one guy who was actually in my year, but he left school earlier than me. And he was not the guy I remembered him as, and I wasn't octopus anymore. And so thank you, makeup, for making me not look like octopus. So the guy was like, oh, now I notice her. So we ended up spending most of our time in Bali riding a ninja bike together, and that's Kevin, and that's how I fell in love with my boyfriend. And now I am happy and still kicking it, studying in Perth in Australia, and you guys should just stay tuned to see how my life goes. But just remember, guys, if a T-Rex tries to eat your life, Just go Matrix all over them.